guys? It's Brandon and Luke here with the MLB Nation Bullpen Chatter podcast. On today's show, we're going to talk about the American League wildcard race. We're going to talk about Ron Washington, the Rangers manager, and his job security, and we'll talk about Matt Harvey's decision to choose rehab over going ahead and take Tommy John surgery. Luke, how we doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. Let's go ahead and kick off with the American League wildcard situation. It is a tight race.
Yes, it is.
Where we have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 teams within 3.5 games of wild card. Currently, Tampa Bay and Texas are tied for first, and Cleveland is a half a game back. And some of these teams have tough schedules going the rest of the stretch, and some have pretty easy ones. Right now, Tampa Bay, let's break it down. Currently in first place, Texas and Tampa Bay are tied, as I said. The rest of the way, Tampa Bay has a game against 3 against Baltimore, 3 against the Yankees, and 3 against Toronto. Luke, does that sound difficult? Do you think Ray can hold on to the spot right now, and do you think they end up with the first wild card spot if they do make it in the playoffs?
I believe they do. I think the Rays will get in just based on they have a really strong pitching staff that's been really underperforming the last few weeks. They've hit a little bit of a stretch, but most of these guys have been there before, and I think, the schedule is not easy, I would say, but it's not terrible at the same time. The Baltimore series this weekend is going to be huge. But then, going to New York, and you don't know if New York's going to be still in the wild card or not, and Toronto. So, I could see. I think the Rays will get the first spot.
Now, what about Texas? They have one against Tampa Bay, then they play the Royals, the Astros, and the Angels. You think that sounds easy with their last 6 games, but they've got to finish up with against 2 teams that are in the playoff race.
I agree. I think that Texas has probably the second easiest schedule going through. But I don't think they'll make it. Their pitching staff has been really, really shaky, and them as a team, they can't score. They didn't hold a lead for their entire 7-game losing streak that just ended the other. Was it last night? I think it was last night. But still, I don't think the Rangers will make the postseason. I think they'll be on the outside looking in.
That's interesting. I do agree with you. I think that they missed the playoffs. The last 3 years have been interesting in Texas. It's involving choking. 2011, they're 1 strike away from winning the World Series. Last year, they choked in that game 162 against Oakland. And this year, they've choked down the stretch. You cannot be in playoff position to lose 7 games in a row. You can't do it.
No. Nope.
And they're going to cost themselves, and we'll speak more on who else this losing streak could cost later on in the show. Now, Cleveland. We were talking before the show. If Cleveland does not end up making the postseason, that's absurd how they cannot make the playoffs. Folks, here's who Cleveland plays in their final 10 games of the 2013 season. They get the Astros, the White Sox, and the Twins. Luke, do the Indians make the playoffs?
Without a doubt. I would probably put money on it. I'm pretty sure the Indians might even end up as the first wild card slot and host Game 163. That's how sure. They could win 8 or 9 of those 10 games.
Yeah, I very much agree. I loved when they brought in Terry Francona. Obviously Boston's rebounded with John Farrell, but losing a manager like Terry Francona and getting a manager like Terry Francona is huge. It's not that much of a different team. They added Nick Swisher and Michael Bourne, who haven't had very good years. Drew Stubbs as well. But, pieces like Yan Gomes have contributed big time. If you think about it, if you look at their lineup, they have a lot of power, they run, but, a lot of guys are not having that great of seasons. Bourne's having a bad year. Stubbs is not a Major League Baseball player, but that's for the day. Nick Swisher, you got Asdrubal Cabrera, who's hitting about 230. this guy was an all-star a couple years back. You got Chisenhall, who's not really done anything. But you got guys like Jan Gomes and Carlos Santana and Michael Brantley leading this offense. Mike Avilas, too. But their pitching's been really good lately. Ubaldo Jimenez is about a 2.5 ERA, I believe, in the last month or so. The bullpen's nice. And, with that schedule, if you can't get in the playoffs, I don't even know.
And that's all without Justin Masterson as well.
Yeah, he's been really good this year. We got the Baltimore Orioles, who are currently 2 games back as of Wednesday night. They finish up their year with 4 against Boston, but it's across 2 different sets. They get 4 against Tampa Bay and 3 against Toronto, so it's all divisional opponents for the Orioles going forward. Do you think that pitching staff is enough to get them to the postseason?
I think that series with Tampa Bay is going to be huge. I think that'll determine the second wild card behind Cleveland, and I just think Tampa Bay will win 2 or 3 out of the 4-game series in Tampa. And I mean, I could see the Orioles. I would not be shocked if the Orioles made the playoffs, but I don't see it happening.
Neither do I. Actually, before the year, I had the Orioles winning the American League East, but that pitching has just not been very good. Scott Feldman and Bud Norris have not really done anything since coming over to Baltimore. Look at that offense; it's almost inexcusable. A team with that much offensive talent is not in postseason. I mean, they're in postseason contention, but I mean, they're no lock for the playoffs.
Yep.
What about the Yankees? They finished this year with 1 against Tampa Bay, and then they get the Giants, Rays again, and then the Astros.
I just think injuries are going to take too much of a toll on them. I don't even see him catching Baltimore, to be honest with you, and I think they'll finish probably right 4th in the AL East.
Jeez. They really have. But here's one thing: you got to give Joe Girardi a ton of credit this year for hanging this squad in. Well, they've had about 40 different guys, I believe, playing a game for them offensively.
One of the best managers in baseball, in my opinion.
Yeah, it really is. He's a free agent coming up, and someone's going to want him to come lead their team in 2014.
Yes, sir.
City Royals, who are 3.5 out, along with the Yankees. They get the Rangers at home, and then they go to Seattle, and then they get 4 with the White Sox. So the Royals, potentially with 10 games, the Royals can make a playoff push. They've played really well of late.
I mean, you can see it. I mean, the Royals do have solid pitching with, of course, James Shields, a huge offseason acquisition, and then this kid who came up and pitched last night. I mean, they could do it. It wouldn't shock me to do it, but I just think they're too young. I could see them next year making a push for it.
I really do too. Next year they're going to be a dangerous team to watch since finally Eric Hosmer's come around.
Yes.
We hope the same stock is next year, and that bullpen is really good. So your final predictions for the American League wild card, if I remember correctly, you have Cleveland finishing the top spot in the Rays the second.
Yep.
I personally agree with you 100%. I think that's exactly how it will go. But I do think Tampa Bay gets the top spot. I think that their pitching is enough to carry them down the stretch. I think Joe Madden knows how to handle his guys, and Jim Hickey does a great job with that staff. So I think the Rays will get the top spot, and the Indians will also make the playoffs. Let's move on to our next topic, which involves one of the teams in the American League wildcard chase, the Texas Rangers. I believe it was 2 days ago, Ron Washington, the manager of the Rangers, said to ESPN Dallas, I believe, that he was worried about his job security. He said that he understands. He said his team is slumping, but he said, of course, it's something that you think about. He said, it's my job. Ron Washington, in my opinion, is not a very good manager at all. He's playing in the American League where he's going to DH. He bunts in the second inning. I don't feel like he uses his team right. I don't view him to be a very good manager. I don't think the Rangers would miss him. I think they'd improve without Ron Washington as a manager. He doesn't preach getting on base. He doesn't preach walking. I mean, if you look at the Rangers, no one on the team has a really high on base. I think Elvis Andrus may be second on the team in on base percentage at 329. You know, it's. I don't know. I don't really trust Ron Washington. I wouldn't want him as my manager. Do you think Ron Washington keeps his job going forward with the Texas Rangers?
If they don't make the playoffs, I don't see how they can, especially after last year's collapse to Oakland and this year's collapse. I mean, yeah, losing Nelly Cruz is huge, but still, I mean, they provided all the personnel around them, and I mean, 2 World Series appearances, and then one quick exit out of the playoffs, and maybe even a missed playoffs. I don't see how he can come back.
You know, a lot of people are saying, look, he made 2 World Series and he made the playoffs last year. It's fantastic. Look at the talent he had. That's great. Did he win anything with it? No. You know, in 2011, they were 1 strike away and they didn't get it. Last year, they were 1 game away from winning the division and they blew it. Then they blew the wild card game to Baltimore. This year, they lost 7 straight in the pennant race. You cannot do that, and that's not going to fly. I do not believe Ron Washington, whether they make the playoffs or not, unless they win the World Series, I don't think he keeps his job going forward. Now let's talk about people that could potentially replace Ron Washington in Arlington. And I'm going to start this off with the pitching coach for the Rangers, Mike Maddox, brother of former ace Greg Maddox, interviewed for the Cubs and the Boston job in the last couple of years, and I think it's time for Mike Maddox to get his fair shake as the pitch list. What do you think about that?
I was thinking about this, and I have a few names. Couple different names. I don't think they would end up, like, if I had to predict, I don't think it would be these guys, but I was thinking Mike Scioscia, if he gets fired in LA, that could be a fit. Or the guy we talked about earlier, Joe Girardi.
Now, I just think I'm wondering this myself. You know, Joe Girardi, for some reason, to me, if Dale Twain is not brought back in Chicago, I think that could end up a destination for Joe Girardi. But back to the Rangers, as we were talking about, could Mike Scioscia go to the Rangers simply out of spite? Or do you think he goes there because he likes that team, he likes that job, he likes the talent they have coming up with Profar and all their young players? Do you think that Mike Scioscia is already interested in the Rangers job?
I think so. I mean, he knows the division. He knows. I mean, I I don't see it happening just because I don't see him leaving the Angels to go to a division rival. But I didn't think Josh Hamilton would sign with the Angels this year either. So I mean, you never know.
I will go ahead and predict that Mike Maddox is handing out the lineup card on opening day for the 2014 Rangers as their new manager.
It's a solid prediction.
And we talk about Matt Harvey. Everyone knows Matt Harvey, the star of the New York Mets, having an amazing first full season. And then we found out he's having labor problems, and he was going to require Tommy John surgery, but he opted not to do Tommy John surgery right now. He's going for 6 to 8 weeks of rehab, trying to see if his arm is okay, and he will not have to have likely cost him all of this 2014 season. Do you think it was a wise move for Matt Harvey to have chosen to opt out right now to take Tommy John surgery and see if his arm can get back in form?
Yeah, I mean, I think, in my opinion, I think he should have just opted for Tommy John surgery. I mean, even I've been listening to people talk about this injury and they said even with rehab, I mean, it's not a guarantee that he's going to come back at full strength. I just think you got to go in and get it done. I mean, it's not going to get any better just rehabbing it, in my opinion. But I'm no doctor, and I'm not Matt Harvey, so I don't know my body. But in my opinion, I'd probably lean towards getting Tommy John surgery and just missing the whole year and coming back healthy in 2015.
You know, Matt Harvey's a bulldog. Matt Harvey he wants to go out there, he wants to pitch every day. Now, do you think that mentality could hurt him in the long run? I mean, if he's going out there, much like Strasburg did, he just wants to pitch. And we know with the way baseball in America is nowadays, I mean, guys are playing travel baseball at the age of 13 through their high school time. They're playing spring, summer, fall, all the time. These pitchers, they're not getting rest. They're trying to throw breaking balls at the age of 14. I wish I knew how to throw a breaking ball at the age of 14, or even did throw one then. I mean, these young coaches, there's scouts coming out to these young kids' games. They're always trying to impress. They're trying to throw a lot of pitches. I mean, they're playing year-round baseball now. And, Matt Harvey was doing that, was playing in the perfect game circuits, was playing in college in North Carolina. And could there be a pitch count limit coming forward to protect these guys' arms as they go forward? I mean, we've seen in the last 15 years, I mean, we've seen Gary Wood, Mark Pryor, Matt Harvey, Steven Strasburg having arm problems because these guys, they're throwing too hard or they're throwing too much for their young bodies.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, these kids, even if you just watch the Little League World Series, I mean, they have a pitch limit there, and you have to really because, I mean, you don't want these kids to get any arm trouble, and you don't want these kids to ruin just ruin their lives after that and not be able to throw again. I mean that I think they should like once they get to the minors, I think they should be on a pitch count throughout. I mean, you can't really have them going out and throwing 100 pitches every outing. I mean, a lot of ball clubs are good like that. I mean, they'll monitor the minor league stats, but I mean, these there's nothing really you can prepare for. It just kind of happens. I mean, yeah, Matt Harvey's one of the best pitchers in baseball when he's on, or he was in the first half. But I mean, you can't really predict this or anything.
Now, it's a different situation between him and Strasburg. With Strasburg, the national situation to shut him down. They were a really good team, and they had good talent, and they have a future going forward. And they have players around Strasburg. With the Mets, they don't really have anybody. You have David Wright, and who else? I mean, I don't think Daniel Murphy. He could be gone next year. He's a free agent.
They got they got they got a lot of they got a lot of young talent coming up though.
Yes, but they have a lot of unproven talent. The Nats had guys like Desmond, LaRoche, Worth, Harper. In the pitching side, you have Gonzalez, Zimmerman. You have a good bullpen. They have a future, and they were a playoff team. With the Mets, do you think that I disagree with the way the Nationals handled the Strasburg situation? But with the Mets, I could see them having done that with Harvey. Say, you know what, kid, you are our future. We're trying to make a push for it. We cannot afford for you, our star, and one of the best pitchers in baseball, to be hurt. And they opted not to do that. And with the Marlins, they did that with Fernandez this year. But the Mets, they really didn't do that with their Bulldog ace. And we saw what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't like how the Nationals handled Strasburg at all. I mean, I could have that argument with anybody. Once you get to the postseason, you don't shut down your ace. You really don't, unless he's hurting, which he was pitching completely fine. But that's a different discussion. But I think the Mets could have had some influence on this. But I think overall, it was Harvey's decision. I think Harvey decided he just wanted to avoid this and pitch in 2014.
Now, I mean, I really hope he turns out fine. I really enjoy watching him. It's fun to watch him pitch. He really, as I was saying, he reminds me of a bit of a Roger Clemens. His mentality is I am really, really good, and I'm going to get you out. And I'm not going to let you be successful off of me. Works for him. He's dominant when he's out there. You can tell there's a presence to him just by the name of Matt Harvey. You say, uh-oh. We're in trouble today. But if his arm is a problem, why not just, take the Tommy John surgery? Don't risk it, because what happens if during this rehab process, God forbid, he does something to further mess up his arm? Instead of just choosing the smarter way, in my opinion, just go ahead and take Tommy John surgery.
Completely agree.
It's we got a lot of fun stuff to watch for pitching in baseball coming up nowadays. Hernandez, Strasburg's still in his prime. All these young kids. Kershaw's still early 20s. There's a lot of good pitching coming through baseball nowadays. And We'd hate to see this one of the tier one. Matt Harvey due to injury. In our next show tomorrow, we will have Rob Zastrinsky. No, yes. Did I pronounce it right, Luke?
Zastrisny, yep.
Strisny. He's a left-handed pitcher. He's a top prospect in the Cubs organization, and we will have him on the show tomorrow to speak with Luke. You can follow me on Twitter at TheBTrain10. You can follow Luke on Twitter at LukeJet10. Thank you for tuning into today's Bullpen Chatter episode, and make sure you log on to read all the best baseball content on themlbnation.com. All right, thanks for listening.
Peace out.